Chinese people love eating hot pot during holidays. My family especially, we were having hot pot for Thanksgiving. So we went to the market to get stuff to eat in the hot pot, and one of the things that we got is pig blood. It's a popular ingredient to eat in the hot pot. When we got home, one of our relatives told us the pig blood we got was fake. So it's a bummer that we got the fake pig blood, which is basically artificial pig blood. But I didn't think it was that bad, and I still had a few pieces. But after I looked into how fake pig blood was created in China, I realized not only me, but my family members, we all ate poisonous food. So this is how fake pig blood was created in Communist China. Apparently in the city of Wuhan, where COVID also emerged, that's when they first found out a large portion of the pig blood on the market were all fake. Normally from a pig that weighs 100 kilograms, only 10 kilograms of pig blood can be extracted. And that's for pig, which is a really large animal. Duck blood is also very popular in China, and ducks are very small, and the duck blood you can get from a duck can only be counted with milligrams. And Chinese people love eating food products that's made with blood. So the demand is very high, however, the supply is very limited. So how can the manufacturer meet this large demand and make money? They started making fake ones. So how are these fake blood made? One way is by adding a lot of water into the existing pig blood or duck blood and thicken it. That way, at least it's not harmful to the body. You're just getting less product than you think. The second way is creating them completely from scratch without a single drop of blood. Look at this video. So this guy is a chef at the restaurant, and he's exposing what they're selling in restaurants. He added salt, citric acid, and coagulant, and preservatives. That's why it can last 12 months. And added water. And then added this powder, which is black, but once it's in the bowl, it turns red. Let it sit for half an hour. And cook it in the pot. So now he's comparing the duck blood he bought from the market and the one he just created. The real duck blood costs 80 to 90 cents RMB to produce, but the fake one only 40 to 50 cents. In hot pot restaurants, the fake one could sell for 6 to 8 RMB, and it's a huge profit. And I learned that fake pig blood was created with more or less the same ingredients. Out of everything that was used in the process, the worst one was methanol. So methanol was used by ancient Egyptians in the embalming process to make mummies. And they're using this to create the fake pig blood or fake duck blood. It's so gross. And I also learned that this is a main ingredient for fake liquor production in China, and drinking a lot of methanol could lead to cancer and deformity on the body. So I asked my family, how can you tell that these are fake and not real pig blood? So they said, first you look at the color, and then after you cut it, you can look at the side. The one we got was very smooth, like silky tofu, but the real pig blood has air bubbles in them. And then it's the texture. So the real pig blood is very fragile and you can break it easily, but the fake one is very rubbery because it's made with substance that's similar to gelatin that holds it together. So it's very rubbery and very flexible, and it's not easy to break it. So if you use a pair of chopsticks, try to squeeze the blood, and the real blood will break easily. The fake blood will stay firm and bounce back. That's how we know the one we had was definitely fake blood. Well, food safety issue has always been a problem in China. The most notorious incident was back in 2008, the Chinese milk scandal. So in 2008, almost all of the Chinese major and small milk powder production factories deliberately put melamine into pet food and baby formula. and that affected 300,000 babies, and among which 54,000 were hospitalized. And this is so common in China that any food item you get can be fake, can be poisonous, or can be very dirty. This wasn't the case in ancient China though. There's an old saying called 君子爱财，取之有道. It translates to, a man of noble character acquires his wealth by just and ethical means. In ancient China, the society's moral standard is much higher, and the individuals, they regulate themselves because they don't want to do bad deeds and have bad things happen to them. It's called karmic retribution. But in modern China, because of the moral decline and how modern Chinese people only care about money and self-interest, and especially after the Cultural Revolution, the Communist Party encouraged people to be more and more materialistic. So people cared about nothing but making money. Fun fact, the Chinese State General Administration of Sports actually forbids their athletes from consuming meat outside of official training facilities. So can you imagine the meat quality that's produced outside of their regulated official training facilities? And that's the meat that every Chinese person is eating today. It's so hard for the 1.4 billion Chinese people that's living in China today. They're exposed with all sorts of fake food and poisonous food. After leaving China, I thought I'm spared. However, there's no guarantee, even if you live outside of China, because China exports so much food and produce items to around the world. In the year 2012, over 10 years ago, the US imported 4.1 billion pounds of food products from China, and the number increases every year. In the year 2022, last year, US imported $1.3 trillion worth of live animal and food from China. But you might think this is okay because we have FDA to protect us and inspect all the food, right? Wrong again. When you buy food from grocery stores, they have to have a label with their country of origin and nutritional information. However, a big substantial portion of food that's cooked in restaurants, the consumers have no way of finding out where they're from and how they're made. And the worst part is, once the imported food is processed in any way, it's no longer required by government regulations to have such labeling on the packaging anymore. For example, if frozen peas and frozen carrots were mixed together and sold in a single package, then labeling was not required anymore. If a piece of frozen fish was cut into slices or chunks and sold separately, that's considered processed and labeling is no longer required. So there's so many loopholes that the importing companies and the markets can exploit. Really, no one is safe. It doesn't matter if you live in China or outside of China. China manufactures so many types of food, but it's not just the manufactured food, the finished products that could be a problem. For example, during the milk powder incident, how much food that we consume every day has milk in it? China is also a major manufacturer of artificial vanilla and sweetener. Just how much food that we eat every day has these ingredients? It's impossible to avoid food from China. Any messed up ingredient that China produces could potentially poison the entire world population. So what's the solution to this? I think the root of the problem is the Chinese Communist Party. Under the communist regime, people really lost their moral standard, and no amount of law or regulation can really fix this issue. And therefore, it's up to you and me and every one of us to really stand up to the communist regime and get rid of it. And that's the only way we can ensure a safe future for all of us. Thank you for watching. I'm Ali, and I'll see you next time.